All right, here we are. We are sitting here. Can you introduce yourself there, sir?
Hi there everyone, I'm Lee. What do you want to know, Lance?
Just tell us a little bit about your story, where you're from.
Well, Lance and I we were just talking about leaving our respective home countries, which between us is America and the UK, and how it's difficult for many to leave these countries and believe in finding work, love, money, success and so on, adventure. I mean, a lot of us leave for very, very different reasons. I left because I had a terrible injury. I couldn't get a job. I was 37, and I left for Vietnam with $2,000 in my pocket. 10 years later, I've travelled extensively and worked all over Asia, the Middle East. I have a little house, a swimming pool downstairs. I have a business, a clinic in the Philippines. And I'm still not happy. There's still an adventure to be seen. This has now become routine, and what Lance and I were just talking about is that many get stuck in their routines with government support, family support, and feeling in a rut in their own countries. And it would be nice to inspire people to try and move into different areas of the world and look at different cultures and try different jobs. I mean, my first job was about $20 an hour, and 10 years later I'm still doing it, and I'm getting paid sometimes over $100, $150 an hour. That won't last long, by the way, folks. That's gone. But there are opportunities out there, and business is another factor. You can find trade channels, you can find products, services that you would never find in your own company, in your own countries, with companies, especially multinational countries that have that all sewn up. But out here, you can make your own channels, you can find your own logistical channels, you can find your own products and services and make a very, very tidy sum of money. The only real people that lose are the ones that get into the darker side of Asia and third world countries, developing countries, and probably they deserve what they get. You get addicted to heroin, sexual activity, all kinds of drugs, or some kind of self-harm, right? But those who don't do quite well. Anything else, Lance?
What message would you have to people back in England or America who are thinking about, say, they want to get out of whatever they're doing? Maybe they want to come to Asia, but they're a little bit afraid,
That's normal. I mean, fear is a good thing. Anxiety, fear, trepidation. But that also is the start of something new. That means you've lit a fire in your soul, in yourself, to make that move. It is frightening to go somewhere and not know whether you can find food, water, accommodation, work. It's a very, very frightening prospect. But those of us who do come from America and the UK, Europe, advanced economies basically, and also have maybe perhaps the advantage of a professional skill or a degree. Even without a degree, I think it's very, very doable out here. If you've got a good business acumen, you can do very, very well in Asia, South America, beyond. So take the fear, but you need a little bit of money to start, of course. I left with $2,000 and I'm still out here a decade later, decade or more, others much, much longer. I'd suggest you save up a little bit of money just in case things go wrong. So you need, I'd say, $5,000 maybe would be a good sum to leave with if you can get that together. And just do it. If you've got no real big ties and responsibilities, just go. I mean, what can you lose? I think the opposite is true. I don't think you can lose anything by taking that step, getting on a plane, a boat, a horse, or whatever it may be to get over here. You've already done what most can't, and it's that to beat that initial move. That's the hardest part, I think.
And I think one thing that a lot of people don't realize is that once you're out here in Asia, you will find other foreigners, if you will, other Westerners, or people who are traveling, and they're usually quite helpful. Like, back home, you just don't randomly go up to people and say, "Hey, how you doing?" They're going to think you're some kind of a psycho. But out here, people do help each other, right?
Yeah, because we get straight away out here, we're not in a backstabbing culture anymore. We're in a culture where people generally are trying to do something to better themselves, to experience something good, and that goes across to everybody that's out here. We're all trying to do something that's good. Well, not everyone, but many of us that leave are trying to do that. And furthering on what Lance just said, cost of living is much cheaper, and the food that is available, especially from our respective countries, America and England, fruit and vegetables, they're expensive. Out here, that's normal fare. I mean, it's the cheapest food you can get, so you can live very well, eat well, for half or a third of the cost that you would, the costs that you would in America and the UK, for sure.
Okay. Thank you very much, Lee.